Welcome back, Sebastian here. So obviously no whiteboard this morning, but that being said, I'll have the whiteboard tomorrow for the full review. So review for Mexico Grand Prix qualifying, pretty exciting session I must say, and definitely a result that I was not expecting given the results that we had in practice. So through the practice sessions, Verstappen, Albon, and Perez had been three of the better drivers, and the three of them were the top three drivers in FP3. Very clear weather, no chances of rain throughout qualifying though. Perez makes the crowd happy at the start of Q1 and goes top, but unfortunately, for him, gets pipped by Verstappen. The gap between drivers' first runs and their second runs was quite big, and Bottas, Ricciardo split the Red Bulls as well. So Ricciardo looking especially strong in qualifying. Stroll, Albon, Piastri, Norris, and Sargent were the bottom five after the first runs, so a bit of a surprise to see both McLarens there. Sargent gets a lap deleted for track limits, and they show that the projected knockout time was an 18.9. So most of the drivers in the bottom, pretty much any of the drivers in the bottom 10, good chance, possibility of getting knocked out in Q1. Was traffic in the pit lane, as drivers are basically waiting in the pit lane for the absolute right moment to go out on the track to start the warm-up lap, so that when they cross the line it's as close to zero as possible. And you know, all of the teams, they all run their own computer simulations and they all end up at the exact same number, and then they all have this massive it results in this massive amount of traffic in the pit lane, which is, I don't know, I always find it hilarious how they always try to go find the optimal time and then they all just end up hindering each other. Norris loses it slightly through sector 2 while being in the drop zone, so not looking good for him. Verstappen was under investigation for impeding. I don't think we actually saw this, or at least I didn't see it on TV. So it'll be interesting to see if that's a penalty. But that being said, there's quite a lot of things that were being called throughout today. Alonso stopped at turn 3, and it turns out he spun. Looks like the car got slightly unstable through the entry curb, going over that curb, and then it just kind of oversteered and spun, caused the yellow flag, and that did have some ramifications later. Ocon, Magnussen, Stroll, Sargent, and Norris were your 5 drivers out of Q1. Quite surprising to find Norris there. Just wasn't able to set a lap time, I guess. First lap, I think, must have gone maybe deleted for track limits, I'm not sure, or just didn't set a time that they were happy with, and then second time, I think he made a mistake on that lap. So unfortunate for Norris, but we'll see what he can do tomorrow coming back from what will be P19 most likely. Sargent has his track time deleted for track limits again, so no time set in Q1 for Sargent. Alonso was also, Albon, yeah, is that Albon? Maybe Alonso. Okay, another driver was under investigation for impeding. Hamilton was noted for not slowing under yellow flags, and Sargent was noted for overtaking Tsunoda under yellow flags with the Alonso spin. So we'll see how that goes. That's definitely a pretty harsh penalty, and you know, with Tsunoda already starting at the back of the grid because of the engine penalty, we'll see how they all get applied tomorrow. But my guess is that the grid for tomorrow's race is going to be quite different from what we have now. Q2, into Q2 we go. Albon, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Alonso, and Tsunoda were the bottom 5 after the first runs. Albon says his time is impossible and that there must be damage on the car. So all through the practice sessions, Williams had looked quite good, and for whatever reason during qualifying today that wasn't the case, and he was struggling quite a bit, wasn't really setting anywhere close to the times that were near the top of the table that he was able to in practice. High track evolution towards the end of Q2 though, a lot of drivers jumping up quite a few spots with their final fastest laps. And with that being said, the 5 drivers knocked out were Tsunoda, who of course we'll start from the back tomorrow with his engine penalty. Alonso, not a great weekend for Aston Martin with both drivers out before Q3. Hulkenberg, Gasly, and Zhou. But I think it turns out that Albon, I guess, must have had his lap deleted, and Zhou was basically promoted to that position and was able to participate in Q3. Perez sets benchmark. Verstappen then goes P1, and Ricciardo goes P2 ahead of Perez. That's going to set a lot of people going on the whole Perez, Red Bull, Ricciardo situation. And Sainz then takes provisional pole, quite surprising given they had not really shown any pace for Q1 or Q2. Takes provisional pole, and then Leclerc goes P1 as well. So basically you have a provisional Ferrari 1-2. Very, very surprising about that. And I thought very mixed up provisional grid, very few drivers going 2 by 2 by 2 down the grid. And also the fact that the Ferraris were at the top when I don't think many people expected them to be there. Show sets a time in the gap, only one set of tires left. Ferrari setting yellow sectors on their final runs, not improving, but others aren't improving either. Verstappen can't improve on his, so he's only P3 at the flag. Leclerc takes pole for Ferrari 1-2. So your final order, just going over the whole grid. Leclerc on pole, Sainz second, Verstappen third, Ricciardo fourth. Great result for him, ahead of Perez fifth. Crucially, sixth Hamilton, seventh Piastri, eighth Russell, ninth Bottas, and 10th Zhou. Decent result for Alfa Romeo, getting both cars into Q3. 11th is Albon, I guess. I'm going to guess Albon, although if he had a lap time deleted, he'd probably be at the bottom. Gasly, Hulkenberg, Alonso, and Tsunoda. Of course, Tsunoda's going to the back of the grid. And then in Q1, your bottom five was, so Stroll 16th. Let's see, where did I write that down? Okay, there we go. Ocon 16th, Magnussen 17th, Stroll 18th, Sargent 19th, although actually I think Sargent's now 20th because he didn't got his lap deleted. But yeah, Norris and Sargent, and then what will be Tsunoda at the back of the grid for tomorrow's Grand Prix. So pretty exciting grid, and this is exactly why so many people have complaints about the sprint qualifying, is that, Saturday, you have a lot of anticipation, you don't know what's going to happen for Sunday's race, whereas when you have the sprint on a Saturday, you have some idea of the race pace of the cars, and that unfortunately kind of takes away the feeling that you get on the kind of the feeling of not knowing that you have on a Sunday. It's like opening your Christmas presents on Christmas Eve and then repacking them and then putting them back and then reopening them on Christmas, right? It's just not the same. So that's all for my review of qualifying from the Mexico Grand Prix. Pretty exciting session, and I'll be back tomorrow with my review of the Grand Prix. Goodbye.